C-Sound Recording Studio, Studio Notes, Episode 1, Role of a Producer. Many people ask me, what does a record producer do? And I wish I had an easy answer, but the fact is, it's like asking people, what does a chef do? We all know chefs cook food, but we also know that chefs all cook very differently and have their own ideas about what makes a great dish. Well, producing music is not much different. There are many different ways that music producers actually produce music. Some have a very prominent effect on the recording. Producers like Jeff Lynne, who has produced everyone from ELO to the Traveling Wilburys to George Harrison, has a very unique sound that is nearly unmistakable in all his projects. All of Jeff Lynne's productions carry with it a lazy-sounding snare, dry chorus vocals, and lots of acoustic guitars. This gives his productions a particular sound that makes listeners say, "Hey, I know that sound." Some producers, however, try to imagine what the artist is trying to convey with his music and acts as the technical go-between from the artist's music to the listener's ears. George Martin once used a term while recording the early days of the Beatles as a realizer. He always thought he would realize the sound that the Beatles were trying to accomplish. I like to think I fit into that category, where the artist will play me a song and I may hear certain instruments or vocal arrangements and suggest that they might go into a certain direction for their sound. No matter what I suggest, though, I always let the artist have the final say. In the next few minutes, I want to let you experience the different aspects of producing a record and letting you see the steps that are involved while I am producing an act in the studio. Some producers hire engineers to record some, most, or all of the instruments and vocals, and pretty much everything that will be recorded onto tape, or in this case, digitally. I prefer to engineer the sessions myself. I think to really get the sound that I am looking for in a recording, it is easier for me just to engineer it myself. And besides, I love doing it. The first thing we need from a musician is the music. Most of the time, the music will be sent to me either on a CD or emailed to me on an MP3 file. Sometimes, I will even just sit with the songwriter in the studio. He or she will play me the song on their piano or guitar. Not only does this allow me to listen to the song as the artist has written it, but it also lets me imagine what direction we want the song to go in. Will we be treating it with a pleasant ballad feel, or will we be rocking it up a bit? If the artist is recording an EP or a complete album, we do this for each song and also get an idea of the direction of the entire project. Next, I determine the musicians I will be bringing in for the project. Sometimes a songwriter or songwriters will already have a band. Other times, we will get session players to assist in the recording process. I usually prefer to work with session players for many reasons. Mainly, they are very good. That's what they do for a living. And they can also assist in arrangements. They also have the best sounding instruments and really know how to play them. This gives the whole project a much more professional sound and makes my job as an audio engineer that much easier. For this particular session, we hire the services of Idan Dayan on stand-up bass and Kit Carlisle on drums. Sometimes you get lucky and hire a musician who can play multiple instruments. On this session, not only did Kit play all the drum tracks, but also added guitar and banjo. Once we determine the musicians, we set up a session date and start recording. By that time, the musicians know the song very well, and last-minute arrangement ideas are made, and we start to record. The first music we record is called the basic tracks, which usually involves drums, bass guitar, and what's called a scratch vocal. The scratch vocal is used just to set the pace for the basic tracks. Unless you're recording the song live in the studio, the scratch vocal is almost never used in the final mix. Once the basic tracks are recorded, we lay down the real vocal tracks. Putting the vocal tracks down at that time allows me to listen for any additions of instruments, harmony vocals, or backing vocals that may help steer the song in its proper direction. At that point, upon the completion of the vocals, we then record the overdubs. Those are normally played by themselves and are layered on top of the tracks that are already recorded. This song has overdubs that feature acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and dobro. Once all of the tracks are completed, we start what is known as the mixdown. This is the point where all of the individual tracks are mixed. By utilizing volume, equalization, compression, panning, and effects, I am able to make the song exactly as I had heard it in my head while we're recording all of the parts. Sometimes you get lucky and mix the song in about an hour. However, there are many occasions where mix down has to be done 4 or 5 times, or even more, and it may take up to 6 or 8 hours to get that exact sound that you were looking for. Once the final mix is approved by the artist, the song is ready for mastering. Mastering is the process that takes the final mix and makes it shine. When your recording is finished, you really want to have the song jump out of the speakers and grab the listener. Mastering helps you accomplish that. So that's it. You have just seen and heard how an idea for a song matures into a radio-friendly recording and goes from this to this, with hopes that the song in its finished state will be heard and purchased by the masses. Thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again next time on Studio Notes.
Bring that sugar to me. Bring that sugar to me.